Hello, hello, everybody. It's Ophi helping you figure out how to end 2018 strong. Hi, we're doing a Facebook, Instagram, etc. simulcast. So here we are at the end of 2018 already. It feels like we were just talking about the end of 2017. So as you come on, tell us where you're from, your zodiac sign. And today we're going to talk about, where you can, really focus your energy these last few days of 2018 as you move into 2019 and how to finish strong. So, every year, Jupiter, which is a planet of growth and abundance, spends 12 to 13 months in one zodiac sign. It doesn't always follow the calendar year, but it'll spend like a good chunk of most years in one sign, and that will really determine a lot of where we want to put our energies, but it'll also show what we get a lot of and sometimes too much of, because once you've learned the lesson and immersed yourself in it, then it's kind of like, okay, enough already. Time to move on to that next chapter. We also like to look at Saturn, which can show where where you might have some lessons to learn or harder growth. Jupiter is about luck and abundance and ease, but sometimes what you get, a bumper crop of and too much of. Saturn is where you are maybe challenged and get, some of the harder lessons sometimes, that there's a muscle that needs to be built up, some resilience. So, in general, in 2018, we had Jupiter for most of the year in Scorpio. It's now in Sagittarius since November 8th. It's in its home sign. In fact, as we're finishing the year, we've got Jupiter in its home sign of Sagittarius, Saturn in its home sign of Capricorn, and Neptune in its home sign of Pisces. And at 9:20 p.m. Eastern on New Year's Eve, we're going to have Mars going to its home sign of Aries. And what that means is that when a planet is visiting the sign that it rules, it's like we get a double dose of that energy. So, that's not necessarily good or bad. It just means we're going to get double strength of it. So, Jupiter in Sagittarius is prompting us to take double the risks, and Saturn and Capricorn is prompting us to be twice as cautious. Neptune and Pisces is amplifying our creativity, and Mars and Aries is going to really pump up the passion and lust. It could be a steamy New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, depending on where in the world you are. Not that that's a bad thing. So, but Jupiter was in Scorpio until November 8th, and that was an interesting kind of intensity, because Jupiter is about bringing things into the open and telling the truth and unmasking things that have been hidden. And, Scorpio is about secrets and privacy and hiding and things that are not revealed. So all last year, we had a lot of stuff that had been hidden, kind of dug up and brought out into the open. And that also meant parts of ourselves, parts of our own shadow sides that we all have, things about ourselves that are hidden from us, what I like to call your blind spots, or, the parts of yourself that you've disowned may have come into focus. It might not have been that pretty, but there was a real opportunity to grow and learn. Now, everybody's telling me what to talk about. I'm going to talk about the signs. Don't worry. I'll talk about all of them. And if you haven't yet gotten your 2019 horoscope guide, our book, I don't have it next to me. I thought I did. We are offering a free ticket to our Capture Your Cosmic Power in 2019 webinar. It's a live webinar. So anyone who buys the book between now and January 6th, which is the day of the webinar, will get a free ticket to see it, to ask us your questions. We're going to go into much more detail about the year ahead in that broadcast. So We hope you'll be there. And just for you guys, we have a special discount code, 20% off with the code New Year. That's one word, on any product. So enjoy that, and we hope you'll be with us. So let's talk about what to let go of. Let's go by element. Let's go through the fire signs. So do we have any Aries here today? I see everybody's posting their sign, which is awesome. Somebody is saying quickly about the book, a personal reading. It's there's a personal reading for every sign in the book and in the webinar, okay? So every zodiac sign has an entire forecast for the year ahead with your most important dates. And we're going to go through that also in the webinar, the overview. But so if you're a fire sign, if you're an Aries, one of the things you want to release from this year, Jupiter being in Scorpio, that was in your intense 8th house. So that might have brought out an obsessive part of your personality, sort of some control issues or obsessing over things you can't control, or just some power struggles. You may have had a power struggle with a person. You might have gotten a little bit obsessive about money and, you know, counting how much you had or worrying about that, worrying about where things were going and kind of fixating on the future. So if you're an Aries, one of the things to really release is just the idea, the illusion of control, and the idea that you can actually, you know, control anyone or anything, just because you can to a certain degree, but it also starts to block abundance and block, you know, the universe from contributing. Because Jupiter in your 8th house also made for a very spiritual year. There's a lot of growth with your intuition and that sort of thing. So this is a year to kind of come out of being private and in that tunnel vision and start to really expand your viewfinder. Any Leos here? I know we have a couple, so because I've already seen you introducing yourself, and pardon me, I got a little end of the year cold. One of those things at a time of releasing. And I just want to say, you know, even though the hype is around, oh, the holidays, it's so fun and what a great time. Holidays are a transition. The New Year's a transition, and any kind of transition, whether we're aware of it or not, can bring up emotions, even if it's not, again, not necessarily a bad or a good thing, but it's stuff, it's baggage, it's feelings, and, you know, just really giving yourself the space to just let those out, let those pass through you. You know, I think I caught a cold just because there's a lot of pressure around the holidays. You know, I didn't even grow up celebrating Christmas, but I've got an 8-year-old and a 19-year-old stepdaughter, and, you know, we get the tree and do all that present decoration, and it's ridiculous, but I don't know if anybody else can relate, but I just felt all this pressure, pressure to still be part of that. That whole thing for everybody else. So what did I do? Of course, I got a cold from just the people-pleasing thing. So no matter what you want to release, whether it's part of your horoscope or not, just, you know, we tend to become aware of it. People-pleasing is something that in my chart, I have a Cancer South node, is one of those things that I'll probably spend the rest of my life trying to release. It's part of the human condition for a lot of us too. So whatever it is, this is a really great time to just work through just letting that stuff go. And some of you guys may have been with us on the 20th. We did a solstice ritual, and there's a link on astrostyle.com if you scroll down to watch the replay. We gave a recipe for a ritual bath. And, you know, I think even though the solstice has passed, you could really do that before the end of the year, because it was about sort of cleansing away what no longer serves you and making way for the new. So, yeah, so Leos, not to make a Leo wait, but I just did. I'm so sorry, Leos. But one thing to let go of is sort of a solitary vibe. You know, this was a very insular, home-focused, emotion-focused year. You know, you were very much in your shell a lot of the time, or not really out doing your glam Leo thing, which you're now moving into for 2019. So if you kind of have some stuck emotions, or, you know, you've started to kind of become too much of a homebody, or to get a little too like traditional, some of your insecurities may have flared up. You know, sometimes after Jupiter goes to your 4th house, you get in the habit of hiding out a little bit, and you forget to just like be a Leo and get back out into the world again. So one of the things to release, just any shyness or insecurity, or, you know, even I'll say laziness, because sometimes when you lounge around too much, you just kind of get into that like, oh, elastic waistbands are the only way kind of groove. So just let that go. Get yourself a nice glam New Year's Eve outfit to kick that back into gear, and just get back out into the world a little bit more. That insecurity is not befitting zodiac royalty. Now, Sagittarians, any other Sages here? So 2018 was a very strange year. We had Jupiter in our 12th house of endings and closure as it was progressing, sorry, just switch something there, into our sign. So, you know, it's the end of a long 12-year cycle. And, you know, you may have been sleepy, tired, much like Leo's, a little bit of all the fire signs were very sort of under the radar last year, and a little bit, you know, in our little pods. So if you're a Sagittarius who's gotten in the habit of like, you know, also being a little below the radar and off the grid, that's something to release. And also some of the things you may have tried, Sages are used to taking risks and having everything kind of come out in the wash. So, but last year you might have learned a few lessons about some of the people that you could and couldn't trust. You might have gotten burned a little bit by some of the situations you jumped into. So what you want to really release if you're a Sagittarius is really trying to build anything without a solid plan, like, or without doing the research. Like, so, you know, this is release that habit of sort of shooting first and asking questions later. While you do want to go forward and take risks as a Sag, because that's what you do, just, this is foolish or unresearched risks are a no. Calculated risks are the way to go moving forward into 2019. So release that kind of relying on luck instead of making a plan. As that saying goes, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And Sages should take that a little more seriously. Now, Earth signs next. Any Tauruses here? My husband is a Taurus, and it was actually kind of a good year to be married to a Taurus because Jupiter was in your relationship house. So a lot of Tauruses really grew in how they interacted with people, really grew a lot in making your relationships more balanced, more of a give and take. If you know, Tauruses are such strong providers, but you tend to sometimes do that at the expense of yourself, or just become resentful or frustrated if you overgive and feel you're not getting the same in return. So one of the things to release as a Taurus is just any relationships or relationship dynamics that feel imbalanced, that feel like you're being taken advantage of. And also just release the habit of giving as a means of maybe controlling people. Sometimes we give, but we don't, you know, we're so busy congratulating ourselves for being noble that we don't recognize or admit that we maybe have a little bit of an agenda. Maybe we're giving to keep an upper hand. Maybe we're giving to control somebody. Maybe we're giving in the hopes of somebody, you know, giving what we're giving to them, to us. So, And people who are asking for links, we will post them all, and don't worry, you'll get all of those. And the discount code for the 2019 book, which is valid for a few days, is New Year. That's one word. So so if you're a Taurus, but you know, Tauruses were also a little impractical this year because Uranus, which is a planet of liberation and freedom, it's like the teenager of the zodiac. It's a planet that spins on its side and does everything its own way. So in May, from May to November, Uranus made its first visit to Taurus. And that was really big change for you. Now this March 6th of 2019, it's going to go back into Taurus for 8 years, and you're going to get a bigger taste of what you experienced the spring and summer and a little bit of the fall. But, you know, from that, you know, you learn to swing out and get out of your box a little bit, but it also brought up a little bit of an impractical side. So one of the things you may want to release is like being really frivolous or impractical or rebellious to the point where like you've ditched all your most important Taurus qualities. Like, it's true that you can get stuck in a rut and you don't want that, but you don't want to go so far away from your grounded, sensible nature that you abandon all logic and reason. So integrating a little bit of that back into your plans, even as you sort of embrace this new identity that you're developing. Any Tauruses out there start anything major in their lives this year at all? You know, or go on a new path, or feel like you were done with a chapter of your life? This is my little Sagittarius mug from London, I believe. Somebody brought it back from the Astrology shop, because I know we have some London people, if any of you guys have ever been there at all, to that shop. Let me just fix something here. Okay, so Virgos, where are Virgos at? So one of the things for you to release are superficial relationships, or relationships that are too kind of like gossip based, or, you know, based on things that aren't even a common interest for you anymore. So your social life really blossomed. Jupiter was in your 3rd house of community and friends, and you brought a lot of new and interesting people into your world, and it was good for you. It was really good for Virgos to exercise that muscle of like just being open. Virgo is a mutable sign. That's one of the adaptable signs. And you know, even though you can be a bit of a hermit, you also really do enjoy people once you give them a chance. Or even if it's like you have this love-hate relationship with humanity, with people. Like, you long for meaningful conversations and, you know, substantial connections, and just to like have someone to go get into dialogue with. You're ruled by Mercury, the planet of communication, and you need to talk to people and run ideas by them. But, you know, a lot of people can't hang with you as a Virgo. They run out of conversational steam before you do. So listen, you don't have to hang out with people that don't add anything to your life or to your world. So release the pressure. Maybe you signed up for some social obligations or posts of responsibility or committees because, you know, you love to help, and you're just not feeling them. So just deactivate from those things so that you can make time for more meaningful, emotionally rewarding bonds. Capricorns, I saw somebody who's a Capricorn said they had a terrible year. Now, you're going through a cycle as a Capricorn that happens only every 29.5 years, and that is that your ruling planet Saturn is in your sign from December 2017 until December 2020. So what does that mean? Well, when Saturn comes to your sign, Saturn is the planet of maturity and responsibility, and sometimes harsh lessons that are designed to make us grow. So if you had some tough times in 2018, what you want to release is feeling sorry for yourself about it, and just getting stuck on being pissed off and resentful. And instead, really look for, what is the lesson? What was I supposed to learn? What is the new muscle What am I supposed to, how am I supposed to grow through what I go through, as that coffee mug saying goes? How can I learn and grow from this? And one of the things that, Capricorns tend to do is take that stiff upper lip. You either become like all woe is me about stuff, or you're just like, I've got this. I don't need help. I'm good. And none of those things are going to serve you next year. So what you want to maybe release and leave behind in 2018 is just this habit of like fixing everything, fixing it all yourself, shouldering the burden, taking the responsibilities on, or, having that pride that pushes people away. You have an opportunity to really, really soar if you can let yourself be vulnerable, kind of just surrender and allow support to come in. It's harder than it sounds. It really is. It's, it sounds like, oh, it should be easy to receive. Actually, receiving is harder than giving. And that was a theme for all the earth signs to really learn, like that Virgo, Taurus, and Capricorn in 2018. The big earth sign lessons were around being vulnerable, being open, asking for help, asking for what you need, instead of, manipulating the situation in the hopes that someone else will give you it, or, being resentful or making sacrifices, being the martyr. We're going to leave all that crap in 2018 and move into using your voice powerfully and just asking for what you want. And it's okay if someone says no, but, the point is to ask. So, okay, air signs. And as I talk about the air signs, I see a little air sign child of mine creeping in here. Hello, you want to say hi? My little Libra 8-year-old is here. This is Sibel. Some of you guys have met her before. He's saying hi? You just come in to say hi? Okay. Hi. Okay. Libras. So Libras. Let's talk about Libras. I got nothing for you. I'm using every screen in the house, so go read your book. Oh yeah, she didn't want to see her mother. She just wanted a charger for her iPod. Huh. Well, let's talk about what air signs need to leave behind in 2018. Valuing an iPod charger more than their own parents. No. Kidding. But so Geminis, Libras, Aquarians, any of you guys here? Let's start with Geminis. So Geminis, you had Jupiter in your 6th house, which is about health and wellness and organization and work, kind of that everyday work where you, do, where you build your skills and, hold on, sorry, child, no, go away. Now she's trying to get me to buy her something from an app. All right, just go buy it and go. I'll see you in a few minutes, little Libra child. I'm going to win Mother of the Year for this one. You got to set, as people are saying, okay, well, I'm glad you guys are finding that adorable. Life, it's real. It's real. We don't just exist as floating heads on the screens. We have families and that kind of thing, and they need us sometimes. So, but Geminis, you had a year where it was a hard-working year, and it was good. But you also learned to stop undervaluing yourself, both in love and in your career, to really be like, hey, if I don't ask for it, I'm not going to get it. So one of the things to really leave behind is that, just, letting other people take advantage of you, always sort of working for people instead of your own projects. Because, Gemini, you're the sign of the twins. You love to do things together and you love to be part of a team. But, sometimes it's time to put yourself and your own goals first. So if you're a Gemini, releasing, kind of sacrificing your own goals at the, just to help other people, and, and not taking care of yourself, just neglecting yourself, whether that's your, fitness or healthy eating or sleep, or, your own dreams, investing in yourself, maybe by getting more training or education. So 2019 is going to be a very nice year for relationships for Gemini. So you have a lot to look forward to now with Jupiter in your opposite sign, with like attracting a new kind of person, whether it's romantically or for business or friendship, just really moving into that more equal give and take and that mutuality. So leave behind all the sort of playing therapist and taking on other people's baggage. You don't need that. Let them solve their own problems. I like what you guys are saying, so thank God. I love it. Libras, let me not say that too loud, or we're gonna have an 8-year-old in here again. Libra, this was a big money year for you. Jupiter was in your financial house, so you may have made a lot of money, but you may also have taken on more expenses. You know, that tends to happen sometimes. We get a boost in our income and we go, oh good, I'm gonna upgrade my lifestyle. And while there's nothing wrong with that, you may have done that without a plan, or you may have taken a risk and then been like, oh my God, what did I do? So really leaving behind financial stress and being in those, you know, any limiting beliefs around money and abundance. I know it's very hard, you know, I can say, oh, the universe is abundant, but hey, when your bank account's overdrawn, it doesn't feel that way, right? Or when it's below the threshold you want it to be at. So, you know, being irresponsible with money, even if you're not, that doesn't mean you're like spending it on everything, but it just, you know, just not planning or not budgeting or not really having a full-on understanding and powerful relationship with money. I would, you know, if you're a Libra, you want to really leave that behind. So, an Aquarius, any Aquarians here? The Aquarians, it was a big work and responsibility year, it was a big career year. So you may have really grown into a sense of leadership and responsibility, but you also might have taken on a little more than you bargained for, you know? It's just the way it is. Human beings by nature kind of, if someone, you know, we tend to like look for someone who's going to take care of it or give us the answer, or look for the authority figure a lot of the times until we really step into our own power and realize, oh, you know, that answer is to be found in myself. But there's always someone who's looking for you to be their mommy or daddy. And if you're an Aquarius, you may have found yourself being the person that people look to in 2018, being like regarded as someone who somehow had the answer to everything or the keys to everything. And you may have, you know, grown in your career or goals by doing that, but it's just, again, like I said, too much of that, too much of a good thing. So if you have picked up too much of other people's baggage, like Geminis, you want to shake that off. As a saying for any air sign, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, like you may have found yourself taking care of a lot of people this year, supporting them, even making excuses for them at some point. Like really, you know, sometimes people needed that extra boost and you would want someone to do it for you, but where has that gone a little too far? So if you're Gemini, a Libra, Aquarius, you know, the thing to leave behind in 2018 is really just like other people's problems, OPP. That's a different kind of OPP, and you're not going to be down with it in 2019. So, you know, let that go. And as the saying goes, teach a person to fish instead of giving them a fish, and let them become self-sufficient. Teach them the skills they need to do that, but don't do it for them. So, oh, hi, Muna. Good. I'm glad that you got yourself a copy of the book. I don't think you'll be sorry. It's very in-depth. The 2019 horoscope guide is it's our 700-page guide to the entire year. You can get the big book, or you can get just for your sign. a single paperback if you want just your sign. The big book comes as a PDF or paperback, and it'll guide you through the entire year. You'll also get a webinar ticket. We're doing a webinar on January 6th called Capture Your Cosmic Power in 2019. We're going to talk about the year ahead, do a live Q&A. Tali will be on with me, and you also get 2 bonus PDFs about the new and full moons and the numerology of the year ahead. So, yeah. I'm glad some of you guys got my OPP joke, because I think I just kind of dated myself as a 90s hip-hop loving girl. But hey, those were my glory days on the dance floor as a Sag. What can I say? I actually have the same birthday as Tretch of OPP fame. Little astro fun fact. And for those of you guys who don't know what I'm talking about, Google it. So let's not keep those poor water signs waiting, because I've seen your pleas. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, give it to me. So if we have any Cancers here. Now, Cancers, you are in an interesting position because the eclipses, which sweep away the old and bring in the new, are now going through your sign. The North Node is now in Cancer. So that means we're all moving toward you as a culture. We're all moving to be more compassionate, loving, caring, family-oriented. But for you, the next couple years could bring a really big change of your identity, big confidence boost, change in your relationships or your approach to relationships. But this year, you had Jupiter in your 5th house, which is the house of love and passion and excitement and emotion. It's very big, bold, and intense. So it was a year of a little bit of drama. I don't know about any of you Cancers. Did you experience some drama here? Because it was a year where some of your emotions, which are already pretty strong, may have gotten the better of you. And if they did, you can leave a little bit of that behind. You got to honor your emotions and feelings, but there's a difference between honoring them and just spewing them all over the place. And you probably are very well aware of what that difference looks like by now. So while it was great to listen to your heart, you want to bring a little more head and heart balance into the coming year, and you'll have some good support from that with Jupiter now in your sensible 6th house. So, but if you did make some messes or light some fires that kind of got a little out of control, just try to clean that up. If there's anything you're feeling a little regretful about, maybe apologize or make amends before the year is done. And maybe the person you need to apologize to is yourself, because sometimes it's you go back to that person that you have this conflict or drama or dynamic with, and you just get sucked back into the dynamic. It doesn't do any good to go and talk to them. What does good is to sort of look within and go, why am I touching that hot stove again and again? Why do I keep being drawn to that person? What am I really trying to work through here? So leave behind in 2018 just those people that you're trying to work those dramas out with, and move into really figure out what the core emotional need that you're trying to get from engaging in that constant tug of war is. What are you really trying to get here? Are you trying to prove that you're loved? Are you trying to work through some old abandonment fears? Is it something that maybe it would help to work with a therapist or healer? No shame in that, We all, I mean, to me, that's like going to the gym for your emotional or mental state. We need to keep all of our parts running well, not just our bodies, but our minds and our spirits and our emotions. So if you're a Cancer who's gone through that kind of stuff, No shame. Stop fighting and get whatever support you need. Scorpios, any Scorpios here? And I see the questions you guys are asking. I will get to those after I go through all the signs. So Scorpios, you had a really big year because Jupiter was in your sign. It was a year of like major risk taking, trying new things, branching really far out of your comfort zone in your wheelhouse, because Jupiter is all about risks and evolving and newness. So but you may have overshot the mark a few times. You may have gone a little too far, out of your comfort zone, and you might be feeling a little bit queasy up in the clouds, a little dizzy up in the air so far. So, if you're a Scorpio who is feeling a little bit like, whoa, I'm so ungrounded, leave behind like pushing yourself too far. And, just maybe it's so funny. I just got a text from a Scorpio. That's very funny. Why do you always know? Why are you so psychic? But Scorpios, if you're feeling uncomfortable, or you're like you've stretched too far beyond your comfort zone, let yourself come on back. Leave behind pushing yourself out of your area of comfort to the point where you feel completely out of control. It's always good. It's good. The water signs, you really learn how to let go of that obsession with being comfortable, because comfort can lead to stagnancy, stagnation. Sorry, I think I just made up a word. Comfort sometimes isn't really comfort. It's what's familiar, and it can be suffocating. So amazing if, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, if you branched out, but now leave that behind and move toward like, okay, I'm going to take what I learned and apply it to something that really feels like a good, solid direction for me. I feel scattered. I feel like I've gone in too many different directions. I feel a little all over the place. Let me get myself rooted here and leave the adventures a little bit behind. Not all of them, but some. I love Scorpios, but man, the drama. Yes, it can get a little dramatic with the Scorpios. It can. Now, last but not least, are Pisces. Do we have any of you fish swimming about here? Pisces, Jupiter was in your 9th house, which is its zone of that it rules. So you had like a really cool year of travel and experimentation, but again, also maybe too much of a good thing. I know, a lot of Pisces who traveled or went to school or tried a lot of things, a lot of experimenting. But I saw earlier Pisces asked in the comments about work. Now, Jupiter is in your career house until December 2019. So this could be your luckiest career year in over a decade, but you're going to have to focus. You're going to have to like not look at every option. Grass is greener. That's the thing you want to leave in 2018, that grass is greener syndrome. Like, ooh, I could do this, but wait, I might be missing out. That FOMO, fear of missing out. Like, oh, I need to try this and this and this, and I can't commit to that because then I'll miss out on that. That was the right attitude for 2018, but for 2019, that's going to have you spinning your wheels. So you want to leave behind the over-promising, under-delivering, or the sort of the eyes are bigger than your stomach, as my grandfather used to say when I'd load up my plate at the table too high. You are, in order to commit to something, you have to say no to something else. And it's hard to say no, especially as a Pisces, because you like to have one foot in here, one foot in there. It makes you feel like, you're not trapped. Pisces don't like to feel trapped. But yeah, if you say yes to everything, you can't really say yes to anything. So pick one or two things that are really important, or, have a lot of potential to go the distance. Like what out of all this bounty of options that you've now seen, seems like it would be something that could last for the long haul. And yeah. Oh no, that's the last sign, someone said. Yes, I did just go through all the signs. So if you're a water sign, let's recap. So if you're a fire sign, what you're leaving behind is being overly emotional, overly sort of hidden, hiding out, off the grid, off the radar. That's Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And leaving behind any of that kind of shyness and insecurity that could prevent you from going big and public. Because in 2019, you are in the spotlight. You are the trailblazer. So like leaving behind the fears and the emotions that stop you from taking some of the risks. But also you're moving into taking calculated, sensible risks, not foolish ones. Now, if you're an earth sign, that's Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, you're moving away from some of the sacrifices you've made for people, or just imbalanced relationships, superficial relationships, or not, relationships that are one-sided, where you don't get asked for what you need and therefore don't get it. You're going to move into, just balance, give and take, and that's going to require being more honest, transparent, vulnerable, seeing vulnerability as a strength and an asset, not a weakness. That's a big one for earth signs, because you pride yourself on being providers and not needing anything. But by not needing anything or anyone, you actually block people from contributing to you, and you keep yourself small and stuck in a box. So allowing people to contribute by saying, I don't know, what do you think? Can actually transform your 2019. Okay, so leave that pride behind. Air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. You, interestingly, were kind of in the role of giving and providing and taking care of, possibly financially. You were sort of the serious ones, and it, as an air sign, that's not very fun for you. You love to be social and be out there mingling and making the friends and planning the parties, and you were the one like stuck in the back doing the dishes or doing all the work. And it was good for you because you can get a little too scattered and flaky as an air sign. So it was good for you to kind of sit down and just stick with it and focus. I bet you have something that you really feel proud about, something that in the past you probably wouldn't have finished, but now you did because you had that focus. But you want to leave some of that sort of overly practical stuff behind. Maybe you got a little too hung up on, well, I go to bed at 10 o'clock, or, well, I can't go out because I got to take care of my mother, or even though she doesn't really need anything, but, she's just being a drama queen who wants my attention. Like, let all that go, leave that in 2018, and get back a little to your more fun-loving, social, outgoing nature. 2019 is a people year. So 2018 was about doing, getting stuff done. 2019 is about getting back out and being with your peeps. So yeah, Jess, I know it was for you. You had that year as a Gemini. You really got a lot done. I know a lot of air signs did. So kudos to you. Give yourself a pat on the back for all you did. And then stop being so damn boring. No. Kidding. Water signs. So this was an interesting year of really just, coming out of that hiding, coming out of your shells, coming out of being, oh, is it okay if I feel this way? Second guessing yourself. It's like you were very immediate. This was very like, I feel this, I respond, very reactive. Like, ooh, I want to go to Bali. Ticket booked. Oh, I'm attracted to this person. Never mind that they're a sociopath. I'm going to sleep with them. It's just for water signs, you were just like stimulus response, no pause in between. And you know what? Some of that really paid off. I bet you have some epic bucket list experiences crossed off now, and things that you might have been too afraid because your emotions tend to rule you. You may have been too afraid to try those things. And maybe you made a mistake. Somebody said, or marry them. Yeah, you might have rushed off to City Hall. You might have, I know one water sign that left a job, and it was so not their nature to do that. They were like counting the minutes till retirement, soldiering through because they wanted that paycheck and that pension. And then it was like they just up and quit and took a new job. And I think they're probably quitting the new job already. It's like, that's okay. So beating yourself up for making mistakes as a water sign, that's Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, leave that behind. Leave behind any like conflict that could be resolved if you're a water sign that was a little aggressive or hostile or combative this year, and you kind of should or could apologize to somebody. Just do it. Don't drag that into the new year. The year ahead is much more practical and grounded. You're moving, into like a get stuff done 2019. So don't bring all that drama in, because it's just going to get in the way of your goals. So that's the breakdown. That's the top notes of what to leave behind in 2018. Of course, you probably have your own personal list as well, because we're all unique individuals who, while guided by the stars, are not completely defined by them. So, we have a couple minutes for questions. I know Muna had asked, when did I decide to become an astrologer? It was kind of an accidental career. So I don't know if any of you guys have thought about it, have wanted to become astrologers ever. We actually have a course. It's in our Learn Astrology. It's astrostyle.com/learn-astrology. If you want to learn how to read charts as one of your 2019 resolutions, we have a course that we did with mindbodygreen.com, and you can learn art from our video course. But it was an accidental career, actually. I just my college boyfriend, who was a Virgo, got me my chart done as a gift, and I read this 30-page printout that came with it, and I was like, how the heck does this piece of paper know so much about me? So I started doing friends charts. I was an art student at the University of Michigan. I was going to go into illustration and graphic design, which I did still, pursue, but horoscopes became a fascination, and I just love that it was such a great tool and shortcut for people to understand themselves and the people around them. I really feel that the kind of conflicts that we have with ourselves and others don't have to happen quite that way. Like when we use astrology as a tool, it's incredible how it can really bridge divides and help us interact with people in a more compassionate, accepting way. So yeah, it's so true. Gabrielle says you can't stop reading once you start. That's what happened. I was just like, oh my God. Yes, it says Sagittarians rule publishing, and I started my own magazine when I was 19. Okay, this is weird. And then you're just like, there must be something to it. So let's see if we have any other questions. Yes, it is. It really is dead on. So yeah, I just want to invite you guys to, grab yourself a copy of the 2019 horoscope guide and use the code New Year at checkout for 20% off for a few days. And that will get you a ticket to our Capture Your Cosmic Power in 2019 webinar, which is going to be awesome. It's going to be on Sunday, January 6th. Hopefully I'll be done with this little cold I've got by then. It's at 2:00 p.m. Eastern, and we'll send you a replay link if you can't make it. But it's a live session Q&A with me and Tali, just really helping you plan your year. You know, that's one of the other things I love about astrology. It's an excellent planning tool. Helps you prevent swimming upstream and really working with the universe, you know, working with the energies that are available, or not working against them. There are some days that the planets are not getting along and you don't want to do one of your most important things that day. Or if you do, you don't want to go into that unarmed. You want to be aware that there may be some obstacles to get around. That's one of the questions. I'm psychic too. Well, you know what? I don't know. You know, psychic, we're all psychic. Being psychic means you're kind of tuned into energies and messages. And the more I've practiced astrology, I'd say the more psychic I've become. It's about noticing and being open and opening up the channels. So I feel that, you know, there are some people that are just mediums and totally open channels and can speak to people who have passed over or just know things. And I don't know that I'm as dialed in. For me, astrology is my access to that realm, and it's more of a system than a psychic sort of like, I don't know how I just know it, but I do. But I do think that as you practice this, you become tuned into energies and you become more psychic, and we all have the ability to do that. So okay, so we answered, is it okay if you buy the book on January 3rd? Yes, all the way up till January 6th. The webinar ticket will be included because the webinar is on January 6th. So, and that gives you access to it live with us, and a chance to ask your questions and hear about your year ahead in more depth and really plan it by the planets. So trying to think. We also, you know, if you want a little sneak peek, we already have our 2019 short yearly horoscopes up on Astrostyle. You can already get a little look at what's ahead. And yeah, just looking forward to more live streams with you guys, more planning and helping to share these tools. So, okay, I'm wishing you guys all a Happy New Year. We'll probably pop back on before the end of the year, say a little Happy New Year, maybe do a little something. But as you see from my 8-year-old daughter making her special guest appearance, gotta work that in around the family stuff. So I recommend, I will say one thing, maybe if you really want to release something from 2018, you can go on Astrostyle and find our Solstice Ritual, and there's a ritual bath for cleansing and releasing. You can do that before the end of the year. You know, it was designed around the solstice, but honestly, intention is what matters the most. And, you know, or maybe you want to write down, like if any of these ideas have spoken to you, maybe do a little journaling. Also, one last thing, we are on YouTube, and we're going to be doing a lot more on there in 2019. With Jupiter in my sign, seems to be a year to do more videos. So we're Astro Twins on YouTube, and we'll put up the link here for you guys. We would love if you want to subscribe, because that way you'll get a lot more access to videos like these. We're going to be posting these on there. So we'd love to have you subscribe so that we can deliver more helpful, practical, useful video content to you in addition to the written horoscopes. So happy end of 2018, and I will be talking to you guys later. Bye.